Okay, you guys, back to streaming again. I was gone for the weekend, so I wasn't able to stream. It's fun being back. That's why I want to do a just chatting stream first. It's fun to just catch up with everybody and talk about whatever everybody wants to talk about. I've been amazed watching the fallout from the election. People just absolutely losing their minds. There's so many there's so many plots and plans out there of things they're going to do now because Trump is coming back into office, and most of it's pretty batshit crazy. All kinds of threats going on. Anbu, good to see you. Hey, Dr. Dirt, CDV's here. ZZ Gaming, Zuchen, Tosspot, Rosa. There's nothing wrong with having a fat guy on your screen, Rosa. Although we do take up a lot of space. Didn't miss nothing, Chrome. We're just getting started now. Just getting started. Yeah, well, that's what I was talking about. Was are you guys seeing the reactions to Trump winning? You got a bunch of, I forgot what they're calling the official movement, but you got a bunch of liberal women saying that now, and at least for the next 4 years, no interacting with sexual relationships with men or anything like that. And it's like, okay, but the thing that gets me is that by doing that, aren't they talking about thinning their own numbers for future elections? I'm just assuming, in the respect that, not always, obviously, but a majority of the time, kids tend to follow politically in parents' footsteps, and for the women involved in it, that are married or in relationships. Wouldn't you typically be in a relationship with a guy who has similar viewpoints to you? I don't know, but there's people out there threatening everybody. Literally, I'll show. I'll see. Maybe I can find some of them. A woman out there threatening anybody that comes near her, anybody that steps up to her, and just some random weird chick. She's going to take them out. If you voted for Trump, stay away from me or step up to me. That'll be better. Shut the fuck up. What the fuck? People have lost their minds. 4B movement. Yeah, Dr. Dirt. What? I mean, just absolutely coming unglued. And then, of course, you have the useless garbage on Twitter who are out harvesting more engagement, and people just keep falling for it. I've seen things like they're doing anything they can to try and hold on to some of that engagement where, well, of course, now we're hearing about how this election was stolen too, but we're hearing it from the other side this time. And it's going to be looked into, and it's not over for Kamala yet, and it's just insane. KB says no one wants to have those women anyway. But my thing about it is, I can't believe they honestly think that even if they legitimately were going to stay committed to that movement, who cares? Don't bang anybody. Who gives a shit? You think that somehow affects the general population? It's going to be interesting to see at the inauguration, because now, fortunately, we're very fortunate. We didn't have any big outbursts of violence or anything like that following the election. And I think that's largely because Trump unsurprisingly, won the popular vote as well. Because I think the big hit was going to be if he won the Electoral College and not the popular vote again. I think that would have set everybody off.
He is old,
but
he is bald, and he is back. What's up, Chris?
Well, that's a good intro, Sonic. I like that.
If this worked out, then I figured out how to change my name again for the TTS.
It worked. You're back with us, Hal. Let's see. Austin said, I just watched the Cowboy game yesterday and they pissed me off. The Cowboys are terrible. Cowboys are just horrific. It's if you're a Cowboy fan, root for them to lose every game and get a draft pick now. Seriously. Oh, jeez.
She will be the first in my harem.
Oh, no, Donald Trump with a harem.
Over to swing. Obama's a great guy. He deserves a break from getting pegged daily.
Trump talks a lot about pegging on here. I'm not throwing stones, casting dispersions. That's your thing. That's your thing. Well, and Andrew says,
It still says
so
be
sad
clean,
that.
so I guess not.
Oh, okay, you were looking up in there, Hal. I gotcha. Huh. I wonder. I don't know anything about making those changes. So sad that people took their life over this election. Yeah, well, what about the guy who took the lives of his kids and his wife and his ex-wife and himself over it? But that still goes back to it's unfortunate, and you can't just blame one side or the other because they both do it. But the way that's all traceable back to social media. Again, you got all these people out there that engagement is their life, and they will say the most outrageous, outlandish things and paint the other side as evil villains as much as possible. And you get people who are sadly simple and easily influenced by such things, and then something bad happens. Chrome says, "Oh no, I'm hearing accusations about the Arizona election as well." Yep, anything that was close. There's some shady things. The guy in charge of the count talked about making Kerry's life a living hell. Yeah, he did. That he genuinely did. I know he was some group that I don't know specifically who they are, that is in charge of monitoring such things as looking into it. But in fairness, I don't think there's nothing he could do to make her life a living hell, but he certainly shouldn't be saying it in his position. Yeah, ZZ Gaming. I don't have the article on it pulled up, but I'm sure you can find it. But, just doing a Google search. But yes, the guy took his own life and the lives of his kids and his family over the election. Shadowblaze says, "Did you hear the news about Schumer blocking McCormick from the Senate orientation because he won't accept the results in Pennsylvania?" Yeah. It's just more of this silly, petty gamesmanship. And Schumer's nose is out of joint because they got trounced, and so he's just. It's the same. It's sad that the politicians tend to fall into that same realm as the idiots on social media, where
there must have been something else going on in the brains
of
those people if an orange man lead them to do that.
Yeah, there's something definitely already wrong there. It's just like I said, I told you guys several times when we were leading into the election and doing the streams. I voted for Trump. If Kamala won, it's not going to make a difference in my day-to-day life. As I said, as a citizen, whatever I can do with my vote or my voice to help prevent her from getting policies that I disagree with implemented would have been the extent of my reaction. And we've had Trump for 4 years already. I still want somebody to tell me what happened in those 4 years to their life, just to their day-to-day life, that affected them in such a way that it's this dire that people are talking about, self-harm. Zuchen says, well, they didn't riot, but they did go mentally crazy. And in fairness, we're talking about social media, mainly Twitter and TikTok. So you're going to have the extremists there. The thing I don't understand is I have trouble feeling that anything is genuine, truly genuine, when you feel like you have to whip your phone out and record it for TikTok. You got all these people crying. I mean, just in tears and screaming and howling to the moon because Trump won. It's like, but you needed to record yourself crying? Yeah, come on, you're doing it. You're doing it for attention. Nacho says, having grew up and survived Vice Cheney. Oh, good old Dick Cheney. What a psycho he was. I really can't comprehend they're overreacting to the results. It's funny. It is, and as I said, if you go on social media now, you see a lot of that overreaction in the in the form of cope. You know, they're people just trying to come up with any outlandish idea going forward to try and make themselves feel better. And their big threat is telling people, especially MAGA, but anybody who voted for Trump, I hope he does exactly what he says he'll do. And you pay the consequences for that. It's like, I don't think that's the threat you think it is. Dragon, thanks for the super chat, pal.
Everybody needs to know that I am really distraught about this.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's 100% what it is, Sonic, and I don't understand what... Okay, so you're crying. I mean, again, that you felt like you needed to share. You're just opening yourself up to ridicule, but okay. But thanks for the super chat, Dragon. He says, I find it interesting, let me read it over here, that they keep saying that Trump will ban abortion despite the fact that he can't because it's a state issue. Right, well, that's what they keep trying to say. He would pass a federal abortion ban. And like you say, the Supreme Court has sent it to the state level. So even if he could get through with doing that, I mean, he has said repeatedly in no uncertain terms that state level is where he wanted it, and he has no interest in taking it any further. And he went so far as to say, even if it were legislated, he would veto it. So I don't... But they've got to cling to something. I mean, people are upset because they didn't win, and it's just bizarre the extremes that they will go to now, or they have gone to now. Chrome said, I mean, maybe having Dick Cheney and Obama come together to endorse Kamala was a bad idea. Yeah, really. What I do like about this election was, because you guys know how I feel about, in general, celebrities and their influence, no matter which side it's on. That was an entire repudiation of them having any significant effect on an election. ZC Gamer says, hey, Curtis, how do you record ahead in Breaking Bad? Did you finish that? No, I'm not that far ahead. I'm not done yet. AP says, isn't Trump already in negotiation with President Putin to make peace with the Ukraine? I remember a video, he said he'll have the war in negotiations 24 hours, and he actually did. Yeah, I know they've already had conversations, and we've seen some reports of what was said in those conversations. But when you're getting those second, third-hand reports, you don't know if what was said was accurate. Obviously, everything that was reported would be excellent if that's actually how the conversation went. But let's wait and see. But yes, I do think he'll follow through on that, and I think he is following through on that. That he'll try and get involved in ending that conflict. Hannibal says, abortion is a dead issue no matter what anyone says. I wouldn't say it's a dead issue. And the exit polls and everything bore it out. It's not really any more of an issue than, for instance, immigration was. They were finishing about the same on people's minds, but the economy was much, much bigger issue to the vast majority of people than anything else. Again, if you believe exit polls. Excuse me. Chrome says, so which celeb quitting or moving to Canada are you most happy about? By the way, James Corden is moving back to the UK over it. Please keep him. Is he really? Corden? I didn't hear that. The one that's cracked me up is Rob Reiner said he was going to set himself on fire if Trump won. That's a pretty bold statement. Now, since then, he has, I looked earlier today because I've been curious to see when he returns because he's very active on Twitter X there. He hasn't returned, but he's a big bag of wind. So I think if he would have already set himself on fire, we would have heard the explosion or something. There would have been flames in the air in California. And so I'm thinking he didn't yet.
How did that
Can't wait to see that
thing that you
fireball,
left for a few days
Bear
go
says.
anyway? Everything good?
Oh, yeah, it was fine. Oh, I can tell you what it is. I just didn't tell you. The only reason I didn't tell you guys why I was gone over the weekend prior to it was because it was a surprise. And I never know, because people that are friends and family do watch the streams every so often, watch the videos. My grandson was playing in a sectional game with his football team. Is basically the playoffs, and I watch all his games on TV, but I wanted to see at least one before the end of the season. So I was going to surprise the grandkids. That's all it was. And I flew out of a tiny little airport. There's a new airline called Avelo, and they fly out of Concord here. The airport, it was awesome. I loved it. The airport's like basically 2 rooms. You walk into the first room, and you go over to the desk, check your bag and everything. There's only 2 airlines that have a desk there, Avelo and one other. I forgot the name of it. You check your bags. I went to go through TSA. I was the only person in the room when I went through. All the TSA agents and me. Boom, 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 went through. Then the next room is where you sit and wait for your plane. Plane comes in. It taxis onto the tarmac, and they just have a little covering over the walkway, and you walk up onto the plane. It was awesome. But that's where I was.
All jokes aside, I would have also oofed myself if Obama won the election in 2008 or 2012. Imagine if we had a black man as president. Ugh, disgusting.
Ooh, I like the way you said, ooh.
How am I supposed to use my I'm a racism victim card if the president is black? Ridiculous.
Subtle, Rosa. Yeah, I mean, the reaction has... Outside of people hurting themselves, if you take that out of the equation, it's funny to read them. That's why I've been reading so much of it whenever I get a chance on social media, just because people have just lost touch with reality altogether. It's sad, but it is. It's social media that drives all that, and it's the mainstream media as well. But I think more so social media. And now, again, you got these women talking about, well, we're not going to have sex with anybody. Okay. As far as I can tell from the female population, they've not been having sex for years. But maybe that's just my experience. I'm doing good, Kirk. Hannibal says, biggest surprise election is 45 to 46% Latino. Yes, that was the biggest surprise. I was expecting like 39. Dude got 55 here in Texas. Yeah, like you, Hannibal, you could feel that his support among Latinos was likely going to go up, but that was shocking.
I don't know if I should point out the color of your skin, Mr. Ex-President.
Sonic State, is like, there are some issues with that. Arkwinder, thanks for the super chat. Says, you are hired by Trump to be a part of his team. What White House role you want? Oh, shit. That's a good question. I don't know. Yeah, I want to run his social media. That's what I want to do. And just really troll people and stuff. not even necessarily be a dick. Just I'd want to run his social media, kind of like Wendy's runs theirs, that type of thing. I gotta look over here. Much easier to read. Smog Frost, thanks for the super chat. Says, to be fair, women have passed because of inaccessibility to certain medical procedures.
TTS was a bit wonky. Misa can't lie. Misa thinking Obama is a Bidening.
Bidening?
He's getting old too. Misa thinks, how old is a black man? Who's gonna tell Rosa that Obama one day election BTW? Actually, maybe Wisa shouldn't tell her. And shut up, Sonic, give Misa my party powder. Misa trying to stay chill.
Party powder, I like that. The only thing you got watch, I don't like when they call Obama old just because we're the same age.
That would be the perfect role for you, Curtis.
Yes, that's what I would want to do. Just run his social media. And small process, to be fair, women have passed because of inaccessibility to certain medical procedures, that and IV issues and questions. I just do not like government taking away rights on either side of the aisle. Well, you guys know how I stand on that. I've long before they rolled back Roe v. Wade, I've always been pro-choice. That said, I mean, it's not banned in America. It goes back to the states. I think a lot of their time would be better spent, at least at this point. There's no avenue now that you're going to put something in nationally. Their time would be better spent in their individual states trying to make changes there. Because, I mean, obviously, if you're in New York, if you're in California, many states across the nation, you don't have any concerns. Everything, abortion is entirely accessible. So it just seems like you'd want to concentrate your efforts on making a change where you actually have a path to making a change, which would be at the state level. Alexa says, I see that you played fighting or video games. Yes, there's a fighting game called Warner Brothers Multiversus. It's for PlayStation 5, Xbox, and for PC. It's fun. Your best kid should play. The roster has Joker. I haven't heard of that one. I'm enjoying that. I got to get back to playing on the stream that Sparking Zero. That's fun. King of Icy says Trump won because of third-party votes and people that did not vote for president.
Shut up, Jar
Here in
Jar.
Ohio,
I'm
like
not
30
giving
million
back your
skip vote
soiree
voting
snow.
for president. You're right. Uh-oh. Sonic and Jar Jar are having at it. Yes, you're 100% right. This is the part that gets me too. In 2020, you had people screaming, obviously, the election was stolen, there was issues. Now you got people on the left screaming that the election was stolen. All of these numbers make perfect sense. It wasn't stolen in 2020, as I've said all along. It wasn't stolen in 2024. They're trying to make an issue where there isn't one. In 2020, you had a huge backlash against Trump. People had 4 years of him, very bombastic. We know the way he presented himself. And, of course, you had social media. That Musk's purchase of Twitter was monstrous in this election. Because back then you had social media site that was actually squelching conservative voices, giving voice to the left. You had a lot of things going against you. There was a big anti-Trump sentiment. That's why Biden won as convincingly as he did. Now in 2024, they're screaming that there's something afoot because the number of votes, Trump's number of votes is actually going to exceed 2020. But the number of votes for the Democrats is way down. It's way down because the economy's in the tank. And if somebody's dissatisfied, if people on the left are dissatisfied with the way things are, you're going to have
maybe I'm a bit paranoid,
a number
but
of them.
I am actually worried about Vance being the VP. I'm prepared to move out if any scary anti-trans legislation is actually being pushed through. I doubt it. But I really wouldn't put it past Republicans with the Senate, House, and presidency. At least, I have the privilege to be able to hop ship whenever I want.
Remind me, Rose, let me finish this thought, and I'll tell you what I think about that as well. But now in 2024, when people are looking back, and this is obviously was the sentiment, they're very dissatisfied with the economy, and people are looking back saying, okay, maybe Trump wasn't so bad. That explains him picking up the Hispanic vote, the Latino vote, as he did, and explains a lot of people who are genuinely in the middle, genuinely unaffiliated, jumping towards him. But more so, you're not going to get a lot of people that voted for Biden necessarily voting for Trump. They're just not going to vote. They're discouraged. They're disgusted with something. They're going to stay home. It all makes perfect sense in the logistics of voting. Bell Black says, let me just read this. I want to go back to what Rosa said too. Curtis, I actually want your opinion on this. I think the problem with American politics are the American people themselves, not politicians. People need to fix themselves to fix the country. I think both. I do think a lot of our politicians do not represent the best and brightest. And I think the problem with that is I think a lot of the politicians add to the issues with the people by, instead of pushing away silly conspiracy theories and stuff, they embrace them if they think they'll help them. So I think I don't think you're wrong, but I think both are to blame. Oh, and now with what Rosa said about trans people, I need to understand further. I don't think you have to worry about actually being threatened as a trans person, and this is the only reason I say that. I think that me voting for Trump, I think I'm I'm more in the majority of people who did than the hardcore Trumpers. And in that, I'm saying, regardless of what we think about issues like whether or not trans women should be able to play against girls, all that aside, as far as any actual significant harm coming to trans people or the stripping away of their rights, people like me, I don't care which side I voted for. I'm not going to stand for that either. It's like, if you have adult people who have made this choice in their lives to become trans, it doesn't give you any right to take anything away from them. You may not like it. You may not agree with it. I mean, there's plenty of people who don't even believe that that's something that can actually be accomplished. That's a separate argument. But as far as losing any significant rights or allowing any harm to come to them, I mean, the vast majority of people in America, I like to think, aren't going to stand for that, no matter who it is. Hannibal says trans thing is likely to end with the women's sports thing. I think that will remain an issue. And the way the sentiment is going, I think they will end up, you're going to see, at least for the immediate future, yes, I can see where there will be a movement to not allow the trans athletes to compete against biological women. But I don't think you'll see anything legislated further than that. As far as individuals being hateful and stuff, that's going to happen no matter who's in office, unfortunately. Hey, Dr. Dirt, thanks for the memberships, channel memberships. I appreciate that. OMG Ruler says, Curtis, some White House staffers, I heard this, are suggesting Biden resign so Harris can be president for 2 months. I don't see the point, to be honest. No, I think it would be, I don't know, and it's nothing against Harris. I just think it would kind of look sad and pathetic. Would you really want to be known? Would you really want to be known as the first woman president when you couldn't win an election to get there? To me, it'd be like almost demeaning. Like, it's almost like saying, "Here, little girl, you're not good enough, so we'll just give you this. You couldn't win it on your own." I don't think it would be a feather in her cap at all. I think it would be kind of laughed at in general, and even when looked back at historically.
Mesa, a trans woman, and even Mesa watched the men's game. Hava Yusa ever watched women's soccer? They're fucking bomb bad. No offense, but it's the truth, though. Mesa more worried about Trump saying he'd make certain treatments for trans people illegal.
Oh, okay.
As
now
Mesa
I understand
it. That's not limited to mutilating kids, by the way.
Okay, it's funny you brought that up, Rose, because I was going to ask you to expand more. I don't know exactly what you're talking about, but yes, that I would likely fall on your side with. If you're talking about making certain procedures illegal for trans people, for 18 and above adults, butt out. It's not your business. Whatever they want to do, whether you approve of it as an individual or not, if they're not hurting anybody else, leave them alone. But that's my stance on everything. If somebody's not hurting somebody else, leave them the fuck alone. Forged in Hell's Flame says this is good. Harris would be president as long as Donzo was Hokage.
This participation trophy.
That's good. Yeah, that's what it would be like. You're right, Big Green. I mean, and I mean this sincerely, not anything against Kamala. I honestly think that would hold her up to ridicule more than anything else. And you don't know if the first woman president is going to be a Democrat or a Republican, but you're taking something away from the first woman who does win an election to become president. Come on. It's an asinine thing. What? And the only reason I can think somebody suggested is they think it's somehow a gotcha to Republicans. But you're not going to be able to gotcha Republicans right now. They're taking the White House and the House and the Senate. They don't care about that. It would just cheapen it for a woman who wins it legitimately down the road. Rosa says, I don't think he'll actually manage to get it past Congress. Too many Republicans in blue states that won't vote on it. Right. Just saying I'm prepared to hop if he somehow does pass it. I would tend to agree with you, Rosa, because again, as I said, I think I think the majority of people who voted for Trump voted for him for more reasons that I did, pure policy, and would not support things like that. Again, what somebody wants to do as an adult, let them do it. Why would you block them from any type of procedure? It's not hurting you. Somebody's offering the procedure, they want to pay for it, have at it. Who cares? I just don't understand that. Who gives a shit? Let them do what they want to do. Forged in Hell's Flame says, all I know is for some reason the mainstream media hates average people. The mainstream media is just dog shit as far as I'm concerned. And as I said, that comes from somebody who...
Anyhow, Mesa got to going now. Remind Sonic that his cock is teeny and that nobody Bombad loves him and that Amy sleeps with Shadow by...
Holy crap. Shots fired, Sonic. Damn. Hey, thanks for being in with us while you could, Rosa. But wow. Right across Sonic's bow with that one. Oh, Chrome says, that Trump is saying surgery can't be funded by the VA. That's about it. Yeah, I don't know about that. Then you're in a gray area because it's his purview because the government is paying for it. But yes, as long as it's not extended out to the general public, trying to tell people what they can or can't do, that's where I would have an issue with it. Chrome says, Make-A-Wish presidency. It's hilarious and sad, but I guess, yeah, Make-A-Wish presidency, that's about it. But I guess Disney gets to keep its Hall of Presidents Kamala animatronic. They didn't really make that in advance, did they? Because usually it always takes Disney a while to update the Hall of Presidents after an election because they have to make the animatronic. I hope they didn't make that one already. Those things are like super pricey to create. And I don't know what you guys think.
Yep. I'm killing him.
Yep.
And
in Minecraft.
Minecraft.
Yes, there you go. That was a harsh shot right there, Sonic. Yeah, I don't think Kamala will have. I think she's done nationally. If she may very well win, she could win major elections. I think in her home state in California. But I don't think she'll get supported by her own party to run again on a national level. I could be wrong. That's just my opinion. Will you play GTA 6? Yes, absolutely, Josh. I can't wait. Ruler says, Trump tariffs are going to suck for gamers. I guess they could go down to Mexico and get the Nintendo Switch's successor. Yeah, I think a lot of people feel the same way, Jamie. Says, me 18 plus, no F's given, below 18, fuck off and wait a few years. Simple as that. Yeah, I mean, as has been brought up, it's the same reason, you don't let kids under 18 get tattoos without parental permission. I can only speak for my own life and what I've witnessed my kids. I know I was not mature enough to make, I was over 18 and still not mature enough to make a lot of decisions I had to make, let alone add some to the mix that I shouldn't even be presented with. That's what I think too, Hannibal. He says no one's going to talk about Kamala except maybe some California run or something. Yeah, I think, and again, I'm not trying to rip on her. That's, I think, the harsh reality of politics. She got beat decisively in this election. And so I just believe that the Democratic Party will see her on the national stage as damaged goods. Now, if a Democrat were to win the presidency in the future, I could see her getting a cabinet post or something. I'm just saying I don't think the Democrats will run her on a national level again for anything. Dimmy says, I hope Trump does something for African Americans. I'm frustrated because most black Americans don't ask for things or know their state's reps. We need tangibles, not street signs and statues. Yeah, completely agree with that. And that's politics in general. It's always about it's always about how things look. It's always about the aesthetics. You're right. And stop with the aesthetics and give us some real meat and potatoes. And there's so much could be done in economically depressed areas all over the country for limited amounts of money that just never gets looked at because everybody, and I think this, Demi, I think this what a lot of what really hurts black people is the politicians always have to see things through that, always have to see things in color, through that lens of ethnicity. And the reason I say I think it hurts them is because then you're pitting people against each other again. If you come out and you say, well, we're going to do this, this, and this for the black community. Now you're going to have people on the extreme right going, you don't have any right to do that. It's all our tax dollars. You have to be there for all of us. So instead, go out and do things for economically depressed communities. Period. It doesn't matter if it's predominantly black, white, Hispanic, Native American, whatever. Then nobody gets to bitch. But the politics are just so divisive right now. The politicians won't do it that way because they're pandering for votes with it. And if they say, hey, we did this for the black community, they think they're going to grab some votes from that community. If they say, hey, we just did it for everybody in depressed areas, it's like, oh, well, I don't know that I'll get the same pop for it. I don't know if I made sense with that, but that's what really hurts. Everything doesn't have to be looked at through a lens of ethnicity or color. Just help people that need help. Don't specify within it. Then nobody can bitch about it. Just go help people. That's just going out and helping people doesn't help the individual politicians enough. Who is better, Vegeta or Goku? Well, Josh, I would say Goku, and Brax would say Vegeta. So him and I would have to fist fight over that one.
Potatoes too.
It's a figure of speech, Patrick.
Can you eat that?
Yep, I'm killing him.
In Minecraft.
In Minecraft.
No.
No. I was like, nah. That's good. That was really good. Let's see. Josh says Vegeta ego has more power than Ultra Instinct Goku. That ego is pretty powerful. I mean, let's face it, though. The way that all turned out, I mean, with character development, I'm more of a Goku fan, but Vegeta turned into a better person. Not that Goku's a bad person, he's just a dumb person. But he ended up really being certainly a better family man. Alexa says, vote Patrick for president and Sonic vice president to kill Jar Jar and AI. Yeah. Jimmy says, I get that. Say we were going to build up inner city Chicago, but low-key we know who mostly is in Chicago. It doesn't attach race. Right. And even more so, Jimmy, just say in general, I mean, the federal government, if they manage well, here comes the biggest if in the history of ifs. If they managed our money decently, should have plenty of money to devote to such things. And like I say, you don't even have to say in inner city Chicago, just in general. You can use numbers. If a community, whether you do it by county or however you're going to break the locales down, if this community is below this number as far as the poverty level and the economic divide, here's what we're going to do for all these communities. Now everybody's happy. Yes, it would, and you're right. It would get to inner cities. It would get to Chicago and Detroit and Philadelphia and all those cities where there are a significant number of black people that could use some assistance in, getting their seat at the table. But it's also going to help where I just thought it was where I came from in New York. Fulton and Montgomery counties in New York are among the most depressed economically in the country. But they're largely white. So nobody's got a bitch. Everybody who has a need is getting help. But again, politicians don't like doing that because they feel they don't get enough specific credit to try and leverage a certain group to vote for them. And And we're just getting back to, again, why politicians piss me off so much. It's always about, well, what kind of pop am I going to get from this? Excuse me.
Goku or Vegeta. They all bad for my taste.
Really?
Really illegal aliens that entered the terrestrial means.
That's fair, Mr. President.
And we have science to pay for.
I love how I always say science. Trump's got a point there. They are here illegally. Oh boy, that's going to be the next big issue. Dr. Ghost, thanks for the super chat, pal. He says, with a Republican House, Senate, and White House, maybe Trump can get a lot done. Let's go sub $2 gas prices. Well, I will say this, the pressure is on Trump now. Because as Dr. Ghost is saying, and he's 100% right, when you've got everything the ball is entirely in your court. Presidency, House, Senate, you got a friendly Supreme Court, you should be able to get stuff done. And then let the pieces fall where they may. Now, you should get to prove why your ideas were good ones. There's no excuse of, well, and it's not even an excuse, and many times it's the reality for a president. They get blocked by Congress in doing the things they want to do. There will be no excuse. So let's see what happens. It is a pressure situation. I mean, obviously, if you're in Trump's shoes, you're very happy with the results. But now the pressure is on. You don't have a scapegoat. If you can't get things done, it's because you fucked up. S-Blank says, a thing I've noticed about discourse is the fact that the other side always gets the most bad faith interpretations possible. 100%. And even beyond that, S-Blank, and again, this is both sides, especially when you go onto social media, even worse than just bad faith interpretations are absolute outright lies. And then, of course, the old, we all know how both sides love to take something that someone has said and edit it properly. I mean, it's all, that's the way it is. And unfortunately, there's so many people, I think it's a majority, who read a headline and nothing more. And my wife has been guilty of that many times in the past. She'll ask me, well, why did someone do this? Why did someone do that? And I said, where did you read this? And the thing I always say is, at least in social media, the least you can do for yourself is if you read something and something outrageous, something outlandish, if it fits with your particular outlook, don't just be willing to accept it, though, because you might end up making yourself look stupid. At least take the time to read the responses. Excuse me. Because I think 9 times out of 10 on social media, when there's a claim made or a quote-unquote news flash posted, if you read through the comments, you're going to hear the other side's take. And as I said, 9 times out of 10, it becomes immediately obvious which one seems to make more sense. But people tend to, especially if what they read is something they like, they don't read any further. They just want to take it and run with it. And the danger in that is you make yourself look dumb. Jetflyer, thanks for the super chat, pal. Jetflyer says, I'm going to quote a tweet. It will take 3 comments to quote the whole thing. I want to give you your take on the overall tweet and the details. Okay, I'll watch for it. Excuse me. Remind me, guys, to watch for that Jetflyer tweet. Yeah, I do like his Internet Bill of Rights. Chrome was talking about Trump's Internet Bill of Rights. Yes. Yeah, I do like that. Oh, geez. Codeman, it must be talking about one of the psychotics that are all over social media now. He said, I heard one saying all men under 40 should get a vasectomy. I mean, they've lost their minds. And I'd like to ask them, what is it they think? Now, Rosa had to leave, unfortunately. You guys know Cutie Rosa is one of our very regulars here, and Rosa's a trans woman. And I would ask her, she would tell us up front, I think if there was any one group that would have a reason to be concerned, to be trans people. But even then, as she said, it's not something she thinks is going to happen. It's something that she's aware of, that any of their rights being taken away, and something that she'll certainly keep an eye on. But for anyone else, what is it? You've got this horrific fear. I mean, this all-encompassing fear to where people are talking about self-harm and taking out their whole families and stuff. What is it you think he's going to do that's going to affect your real everyday life? I wish somebody could explain that to me.
Just do your own research, people.
Nah,
exactly.
Fuck that. Take everything at face value.
At face value.
The internet never lies.
That's what happens. So it's so easy. And that's the thing of it too, especially when you're talking social media. It's not like you have to go out and do separate research. Just at least read the other comments. Because one side's going to say one thing. You're going to have plenty of people on the other side contradicting it. And as I said, 9 times out of 10, you immediately can tell which one seems to make sense and which one sounds outlandish. It's not hard, but people don't want to do that. They see something they like and they just want it to be true, and they take it and run with it. Okay, this is the tweet I found. Okay, it's not up yet. Excuse me. Wolfpaw says, do you think NATO is to blame for the war in Ukraine? Nobody's 100% to blame for the war in Ukraine. It's more geopolitics. I think Putin's, what he did there was too much and uncalled for. I can understand him feeling threatened, though, or feeling uncomfortable because of NATO. Yes, I mean, I'm not a Russia fan, but if we're going to be fair about everything, if we as Americans were in the same situation, it's an uncomfortable situation. Okay, Jetfire says, he said, schools that continue to teach black history, including slavery, those schools will lose funding. He said he'll write into law that you never have to vote again if he wins. He said immigrants have no place here. He said he will give police complete immunity. He said women need to be protected from themselves. He said he's eliminating the Department of Education. He said to lower violence, we should have a purge once a year. So yes, you vote for him in that respect, or like, oh, that's what. So yeah, and see people now. Of those things, he did say he would eliminate the Department of Education. I know that for a fact. Outside of that, he did not say anything about teaching black history, including slavery, that those schools. No, he was talking about the way it's presented. And I'm not even saying I agree with it, but they're saying in certain packages, it's presented as basically you need to feel guilty for this. It's not presented as learning about it. It's what should we do about it? What is our steps going forward? And their stance is just teach them the history. I mean, that's nothing new. I went to school a million years ago. We learned about slavery, and it certainly wasn't presented to us in a positive light. Your teacher, at least mine did, your social studies teacher would make it very clear that being a slave wasn't a good thing. And what were done to the slaves was inhuman. So, but we learned all about that. We weren't told, that we as individuals who had nothing to do with it should take responsibility for it. We were taught you don't want history to repeat itself.
I can say that Putin is 100% wrong, TBH. Imagine attack country to prevent expanding NATO, resulting in expanding it more. Finland, Sweden.
Yeah,
I literally
that's true.
now live near border with NATO country. Now, LOL.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It had the opposite effect. True. But what I meant by that, and I should have expanded on it, was NATO was getting closer and closer to... NATO basically has him almost surrounded. So I can understand him feeling the way he did, and having the large pro-Russia presence in Ukraine, I think, was the main thing that caused him to invade. I don't think any of it's gone for Putin the way he thought it would. Why are we still getting Halloween, guys? we're just talking about the last stream because I didn't get to stream all weekend about how the Halloween's over. Will we see some Thanksgiving? Apparently Halloween's not over. We were wrong. What the hell? Guys. Big Green, what are they doing to us? You and I love these tangent parties so much, and they gave. They're still giving us Halloween shit. Finish with the take on that tweet. Again, it's he didn't say he'll give police complete immunity. I don't know what he's talking about. Women need to be protected from themselves. My guess is going to be, and again, it's something I'd have to research. He said that within the framework of something bigger, just like the other things he's writing in there. We should have a purge once a year. I don't, like I say, it embodies exactly what we're talking about. People take sound bites, excerpt them to make them come from an angle that they want them to, or they just entirely change the contextuality of something. It goes on constantly. Now, Department of Education, that part is not incorrect. He does want to get rid of the Department of Education. Public schools are in general not doing that well for our kids, I don't believe. I like the whole school choice thing. I mean, I tend to stay out of that because it doesn't affect me. Obviously, my kids are long since out of school. But as a parent, had it been offered, I would have liked to have had those options, even though where Spaz kid went to school, or Brax went to school, is a great school situation. I wouldn't have taken advantage of it to send him elsewhere. But I see a lot of schools around the country, and I see things going on in them that I think would be great for parents to have another option.
YouTube didn't want me to see that Tangia party. I'm back.
Oh, man. You didn't get to see it? Freaking YouTube. That's why I was talking to you directly about it, Big Green, because it was a Halloween one. We were talking about how we had just finally gotten past Halloween, and Tangia was like, no, you didn't. We wanted to see if there were going to be Thanksgiving ones and Christmas ones. Hannibal's got a good point, too. He said Republicans wanted it gone since Carter made it, so this isn't new. True. I mean, it wasn't talked about as much, but he's 100% right. Republicans have never liked the Department of Education. Chrome says, so how fast do you think it will be until YouTube violates the Internet Bill of Rights for you, Curtis, the civil rights fighter against YouTube, right? I will say this. If he gets it past, Chrome, YouTube typically, and again, I got no problem with calling them out when I think they do dog shit. You guys know that.
Halloween.
Typically, YouTube doesn't like to run afoul of the actual rules.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. Because that's what I was waiting for, pal. You and I were enjoying the Halloween ones. I thought maybe we'd get a Thanksgiving one, get some turkeys clucking, and we got more spider webs. I don't think YouTube will run afoul of it. I could very well be wrong. And boy, trust me, I would I would do whatever needed if I was victimized by it and what they did was against the law. But as much as I don't like Google as a corporation, and that, of course, trickles down to YouTube, they've never demonstrated to me where they'd be willing to. They'd be one of these companies that'll say, I don't care what you pass, I'll do what I want. They're probably going to fall into line. Thanks, Jacob. He says, I like your shirt of Lucky Charms. I love Lucky Charms. Not surprising. It's all sugar. Of course I like it. Bell Black says, Department of Education should stay, in my opinion. They just need to focus on merit and teaching students useful skills. I agree with you on the second part of that, but I'm starting to think that's why they need to go, because I don't think that it'll ever happen with the existing Department of Education. I've said for years, I mean, there's so many subjects that are taught in high school that are things kids are just never going to use again in their everyday lives. And they ignore so many things that would really help. It just boggles my mind that there isn't a requisite course while you're in high school of instruction on how to go about selecting a college, on how to how credit cards work, how to keep a home budget. That's the perfect opportunity, because kids do come out of college, and if they don't have a lot of strong parental influence, they don't have any idea how any of that works. And then they get victimized by these credit card companies. They overpay for their educations. I mean, that's stuff that kids need to know. And if that comes at the expense of learning about even the Crusades, I don't care. Let them find that information on their own. I don't know. Or pay taxes. Exactly, Jamie. Yes, exactly. And it's stuff that could be presented, whether it would or not, who knows, but it could be presented completely nonpartisan. It's just, okay, these are things you're going to need to know immediately in life. Starting with any of you kids who are thinking about going to college. Here's how college loans work. Teach them to, and this is what I told Braxton. Whatever you want to be, it's great to have a dream. But if you're going to spend a lot of money on college, just look forward to, if you want to work, if you want to help people and you want to work in social services, that's great and it's admirable. Just remember, it doesn't pay big money. Your degree is not going to be, it's a perfectly worthwhile degree. It's not going to be one that's going to result in you making big money. So get your education at a community college. It doesn't matter. You're working in social services. There's not a difference if your degree in social services came from Harvard or a local community college. There isn't. That, worrying about the old adage is C's mean degrees. I don't see anywhere in real life where anybody worries about where your degree is from until you get into the really high-tech cerebral world. If you're going to be a neurosurgeon or you're going to be an aerospace engineer or something. But if you want the typical, more commonplace white-collar work that goes on every day in this country, get your degree cheap. Hell, do as much online as you can and everything. Be smart. If you really want that college experience, that's fine, but just teach the kids you're going to pay for it. And you're going to be paying for that college experience. Is it worth it to you? But nobody tells kids this stuff. Wolfpaw says, has anyone in your family served in the military? Sure. All my uncles did. My grandfather did. Your shirt
reminds me too much of Irish the Hedgehog.
Adam did. Of Irish the Hedgehog. How about me Lucky Charms? Asherman says his grandpa was a colonel in the Soviet Army. Really? That's kind of cool. Jamie Bear says the manga thing reminds me of the Crunchyroll controversy where they are altering shows' subtitles to reflect their own views as opposed to what is actually said. Jamie, it's funny you said that. I've heard mention of that before. I don't know all the details of what specifically went on, but I've heard mention of that before. That's messed up. Demi says, I wish someone had told me about trades when I was 18. Perfect example, Demi. And I tell kids that all the time. Fortunately, I didn't. When I went to school, I told you I didn't finish, but I took journalism, and it was at a community college. I got enough credits that I got a job writing for a newspaper, the Roswell Daily Record in Roswell, New Mexico. As far as I know, the paper's still there. And then I discovered I hated writing for newspapers. It was boring as shit. And I went into blue collar work and loved it. Loved it. Never regretted it once. And so, anybody that ever asked me my opinion, this whole concept that we hit so many kids with, you got to get done with high school and go to college, is bullshit. Not every kid's dream is the same. Going to a trade school or even learning as an apprentice, you don't even have to go to a trade school. You can get a lot of union jobs where you can go in, whatever you want to be, a welder. You can become a welder's apprentice and work your way up. And those jobs pay a lot of money, and the benefits are typically better than in the white-collar world. Kids get so much bad advice or no advice. And it would be so great if nationwide high schools did that. Again, as we said, here's how you go, here's what to look for when you're paying your taxes. Now you're going to be an adult. You're going to start getting hit with all these credit card offers. Here's how interest works. And they're going to tell you for 1 year, no interest. And it's going to seem like a great deal. And then at the end of that 1 year, you're going to have a payment you can't afford to make. And you've already started yourself on a steep decline with your own personal economics. But nobody teaches kids that stuff. Again, it's great if if a child has parents who are heavily involved and lays all that out for them, but not every kid has that. Wolfpaw says, is life insurance a scam? No more so than if we were to just say insurance in general is a scam. No, it's not really. It's life insurance is more of a betting proposition than a scam. I mean, you know what you're getting into with life insurance. They're betting that you'll live and you're betting that you'll die. So is it a scam? No, not really. I mean, if you go into it wide-eyed, you're buying this policy just as literal insurance in case something happens to you. Your family doesn't have to worry about burial expenses, or if you took out a big plan, or about having money come in for many years, to take care of all their bills, so on and so forth. So I don't call it a scam. It is what it is. It's a bet. It's hedging a bet, I should say, because there's no bet on whether or not you're going to die. You're going to. It's hedging the bet because you're betting on how long you're going to live. Flyer says it's mainly the part about, if you voted for him, then I do not like you. Oh, that's insanity. It's like people think, there's something I think he's going to do, and that makes it an objective fact. No, 100%. I mean, we have a lot of people here, a lot of folks here who voted Kamala. We have a lot of people here who are liberals. I don't dislike any of them. Or if I do, it has nothing to do with their politics.
Life insurance is also
Christ.
what I call my extra
That's
lives.
just a small part of life. Life insurance is what I also call my extra life. That's kind of well said, Sonic. I like that one.
Also, I think it is important for child to be more independent in this college age. Maybe living outside parents' house, do some work if it doesn't harm your education.
Agreed.
I know it is a good time to socialize and party a little, but sometimes I think that college was just extended school period, where IFD around and not really gained in maturity.
Couldn't agree with you more. And that's exactly the type of stuff I'm talking about. In high school, have people come in who have lived it, or their own teachers have lived it, and say, listen, as I said, if you want to go to this big school and get your degree in social services, you're paying for that right to party, because that degree is not going to translate into a big income on the other side. So you have to make that choice. You're making a choice that's going to affect your life for a lot of years there. Is it worth going to have that college experience you want? Is that worth the money, as opposed to going to get your degree at a community college where you can get the exact same job when you're done without all the debt? But again, if a kid doesn't have somebody to explain that to them, what do they know? Same thing. That's why credit cards is such a big deal. I've said that, that kids get trapped in that all the time. Start their lives with all this credit card debt because they just don't understand things like how interest works. Chrome says, hey, careful with that talk. I work in insurance. Well, in fairness, Chrome, I was actually good to the insurance people, because a lot of people consider it a scam. I don't. It is exactly what it looks like. If I have life insurance, and that's just to protect my family. I don't. When I pay that premium, I don't resent it. I know what I'm getting into. It's just there to help them. I wish I could have a lot more than I do. It's buying peace of mind. Right, Chrome. Jacob says, I never went to college. Well, I didn't complete. I went to, took a bunch of semesters in community college. I don't have a degree. Bell Black says, what do you think about changing the school system to an apprenticeship? I lost you. Where'd you go? Oh, an apprenticeship model. Basically, you work as an intern while taking classes online. I find this better since I learn more working in school. Well, we have something similar. I don't know if that's nationwide or not, but in New York we had, do you guys all have the BOCES program?
Guess who's in back again? Misa been horse cummed up, and now Misa buying chillin' with Sheikh Mansour. Did you know he's got a massive bombad, girthy cock, and he keeps singing Blue Moon like shutting up, man.
Well, thanks for those details, though. I appreciate that. That's good. Do you guys have that nationwide, at least here in America? I don't know if that's nationwide or if that was state by state. Do you have a BOCES program? But that was basically what you're talking about, Bell Black. Kids would take like half their school day and they would go to the BOCES program where they would, excuse me, learn a trade. And we still have it in New York. I don't know if that's nationwide or not. But it really came in handy for a lot of people. That is one thing New York had that was very good. It is, BOCES is state by state? I thought so, Christian. That's a positive. BOCES is a good program. For just the reasons you outlined. It gives kids an opportunity to start learning a trade while they're still in high school. Thanks, Dr. Dirt. More memberships. I appreciate that. Jacob says, too many people think they're too good to learn trade skills and think they deserve white collar, even if they drool when they speak, right? And the thing is, too, Jacob, and this is something else you can't seem to convince a lot of people of, white collar work isn't necessarily all it's cracked up to be either. I know a lot of people very close to me who are in white collar work and just hate their jobs. And once I've had jobs I hated, but when I went to work for the municipality I eventually retired from, I never hated it.
How say is
I had days I didn't want to go to work like anybody else.
That up for Texas, because Misa don't think Wesa had that in Cali when Misa was growing up, but maybe Wesa did. Misa hated sitting at a desk all day. Yusa might struggle to believe this, but Misa can't sit still very well. Misa very hyperactive and need to be doing something.
I understand that. I completely get that. Yeah, apparently it is state by state, Rosa. So I don't know who would have it and who wouldn't.
To come back
that
here, Jar
that
Jar.
BOCES. Sonic didn't forget Jar Jar. Sonic's nose is still a little bent. But yeah, the BOCES program is excellent, just for those reasons. And thanks for the super chat flyer. He says, yeah, well, I don't have my life figured out yet. One thing is for sure, I'm not going to fall into the traps of you need to go to college to be financially stable, taking out loans, credit cards, etc. You're way ahead of the game, pal. Trust me, way ahead of the game that way. It's so bad to take on that, onerous amounts of debt right out of high school. And a lot of times, again, kids just don't know. They don't understand just how insanely brutal credit cards can be once you start paying the interest rates. They're nuts. The interest rates are nuts, I mean. And again, no, you absolutely, I'm living proof of. You don't need a college degree to have a very satisfying career path. I am very happy with the things I did in my life and where I retired and everything. I enjoyed it. No job is all
more balls than
flowers.
You say, apparently, because mine are deep and Amy, whilst yours are being examined by doctors to figure out the cause of micropenises. Shut up, Sonic Yusa. Don't have the guns for dissing conversation. You're packing a Nerf pistol to a tank battle.
Holy crap. Did anybody see this crossover coming? Jar Jar and Sonic are ready, are unloading on each other here. That's why I love these streams. C2D says, as someone who works with a lot of tradesmen, they be living good and have a lot more choice in work than anyone else. Yeah, I couldn't have been happier. And I'll tell you further, when I wanted to make extra money because of the trades I was in, it was simple. I could get a second job anytime I wanted because I had that CDL. It was so easy to supplement my income a little bit. And I stayed at that municipality I was working for because, fortunately, one of those few times I really had a lot of foresight. Our health insurance, my wife's and my health insurance, is a Cadillac plan, and we have it for the rest of our lives and pay nothing on it because of where I worked. There was no way I would have ever left that job. The money was good for the area. As I said, that area is very economically depressed. It was good for that area. But we like going to Disney and stuff like that, so I would work second jobs. I would work third jobs. But again, because of those trades that I learned, I never had a problem getting those jobs. I could go out and get more work anytime I wanted, and decent paying work. Very decent paying. Excuse me. Chris Papa says, here in Greece, college is pretty much state only, and given how every major town has at least one, you're bound to get a degree with minimal expense, if any. Well, that's cool then. That's cool. But even then, it still depends on, what you want to do with your life.
Unloading, you say.
Oh, no. That's an accurate description.
That's an accurate description. Mesa unloading in his crush while he's unloading into a tissue while looking through the keyhole. Hessa could probably stuff that little pecker through it. Mesa wonders if it laughs like Woody Woodpecker, considering it's just that a pecker.
Jar Jar is off the wall. Easy, Jar Jar. Wolfpaw, have you ever traveled outside the U.S.? If so, where? I've never been out of North America. I've only been to Canada and Mexico. That's it. I want to, but I haven't had the opportunity yet. So all of my travel outside of the United States has still been in North America. Jacob works in a grocery store here in Phoenix. Nothing wrong with grocery store work. Some of the grocery stores pay pretty good. All depends on which one. Just like around here, we have one, what everybody told me, Publix down here pays pretty freaking good. Dragon, thanks for the super chat, pal. Says, I chose the college experience for my comm degree, but I had one good reason. I learned better face-to-face. Plus, as a blind student, I had to live on campus. Oh, sure, extenuating circumstances. Oh, and don't get me wrong. I don't mean to give that impression. I'm not shitting on going to college. I'm just saying it's not for everybody. Because the way I was saying that kind of seemed like I was. Not at all. There's a lot of career paths in life that you're going to need to go to college if you want to pursue them. And I'm all for people for pursuing their dreams. I'm just against this pervasive attitude of telling every child in high school that they need to go to college to be a success, because that's just not true. But no, 100%. And especially with what Dragon outlined there, obviously college is the best choice for him. Dark King says, I work for a local authority in Scotland.
Don't want to sound like a wuss, but I still don't understand how people work 2 or 3 works. I tried one time, and for a month, my eye bags were big enough like 90 years old testicles.
Oh, that's very descriptive. It wasn't that bad for me. To me, it was always the focus, because I knew I wanted that extra money. I used Disney as a good example. Now, between my wife and I, we made enough money to pay our bills and take care of our family, but want to go to Disney, that's expensive.
I still have your stuff, Jar Jar.
So,
I'm using all of it. You'll never see it again.
Also, I'm the complete opposite of Rosa. I have a desk job, and I love it.
Yeah, so
everybody... phone calls, typing away at a computer. And when nothing is happening, just chilling. Good stuff.
And that's what's great, is if you can get it, that's the bottom line, is if you can get into something you enjoy. And not even enjoy, but if it's just something that's tolerable to you, as long as you don't have to get up and hate your job every day, you're ahead of the game. Oh, but what I was starting to say is, so if we wanted to go to Disney, if that meant I was going to spend my Saturdays driving tour bus, taking people to New York City or to their ski weekends or whatever, it was worth it. It was worth it to me.
You should come work for me. I treat employees like you very well.
Yeah.
We're going to have a lot of fun together.
Tell him, Mr. Krabs. we all know about the big pay and great working conditions at the old Krusty Krab. That's pretty good. Rosa says, I drive over children for a job while bringing... drive over children. Jesus Christ, Rosa. while bringing a big car from one place to another for some reason. Not sure what that's about, but the children are funny. For those who don't know, Rose is a truck driver. Drive over children. New Killer says, I'm a welder. There you go. Perfect example. Perfect example. And I mean, obviously, New Killer, you don't have to expand on it if you don't want to. I'm sure New Killer does quite well. Welders make good money. No college required. Either enter an apprenticeship program or go to a trade school. And no matter how a good welder is always going to have
and using my pocket pussy while Mesa pocketing your girl's pussy. Man, you so pathetic. Sonic, gotta go fast. Huh? Yusa relationship sure broke apart fast. Maybe if Yusa had more personality than being an adrenaline junkie, Amy wouldn't be getting spit roasted Oki Day.
Oh man, Jar, poor Amy. But as a welder, you're always going to be in demand. And people say, well, what about automation? You know, a lot of welding takes place on assembly lines is done by robots. True. But we're a long way from getting to the point where when something breaks and you're on a construction job and it's costing you tens of thousands of dollars an hour while it's down, you're a long way away from getting that robot to be able to make that spot weld. And you're a long, long way from the people working that job being willing to trust a robot to make that spot weld. And till the end forever of time. Thanks for the super chat. Says, voted for H. Wife would kick me out if voted Trump. We're hearing a lot of that both ways. My husband would do this. My wife would do that. See, I don't try and influence my wife's vote. Because she ended up voting for Trump, but she could have been more easily swayed. I told you guys, mine doesn't come out of a love for Trump. It's because I refuse to vote. I will never vote for the side that is more likely to take more of your income so the government can redistribute it back to you. That's the big issue for me. Always will be, because that's for my kids and grandkids. But I don't care who she voted for. She doesn't follow politics as closely as do I, so she'll ask me why this happened or why that happened, and I explain it to her, and I try and do it fairly. But she can vote for whoever she wants to vote for. Bell Black says, also people need to learn how to invest early. True. I'm in 30s and wish I learned about that sooner. Another good example, right? Something else that should be taught in high schools. Learn how to invest your money a little bit. Absolutely. 100% right. Especially now, how society has moved away from really, when I first started out, there were a lot of jobs, like the General Electric was close to our community, that had great retirement plans. Those are hard to find. You really need to be able to invest. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. Jacob says, I have a friend who wrote in Arnold Palmer's penis. Wait, what? What? Oh, wrote in. Okay, I gotcha. I would have voted for Arnold Palmer's penis. Arnie is a legend. Chrome says, she's got a link here. It says, Dems are seething so much they're putting up statues of Trump. Oh no, what is this? To burn in effigy, right? In honor of a lifetime of sexual assault. Excuse me. It's like Magna.
What if Dayside That's Anti-Taxes is literally saying Weasel will make and like an American cheese mandatory and ban gay marriage not that big of a deal? TBH Yusa said Yusa'll never vote on the heavy taxers, so Yusa'll still vote on them. Literally fascism apologize. White men are out of control. Okie day.
Hold on, I gotta replay that. I missed the beginning of that. Hold on. What the hell's going on here? Why isn't that one going? Hold on, I'm going to replay that one in just a second, Rosa. I got something here waiting for approval, though. I don't know why I had to wait for approval.
Here's a Goosh Funko Pop.
What the hell? Kinda is, huh? We might need that. We might need that on the shelf back here. That was kind of cool. Hold on, I want to hear.
You know.
Oh, after
if
this, I want to hear.
Bombed, I would have taken your
Jar Jar's
offer,
latest
Mr.
one.
Krabs. But it's kind of doing well. You like me? You really like me? And Jar Jar don't bring personality into this. You're obnoxious. Nobody likes you. You set the Star Wars franchise back a decade.
Oh,
and
Jar Jar. Oh, and fuck.
What if the side that's anti-taxes is literally saying Wisa will make an American cheese mandatory and ban gay marriage not that big of a deal? TBH Yusa said Yusa'll never vote on the heavy taxers, so Yusa'll still vote on them. Literally fascism apologize. White men are out of control. Okie day.
Why'd you have to bring American cheese into it? Yeah. I mean, if it came to that, if it came to American cheese, I might have to be proven a liar. I might have to vote away from my own interests otherwise. Excuse me. Kamala says, now I just want less taxes so I have more for myself. Right. And the big thing about it with me, guys, why that's my stance, is because, and I think both sides can agree with me on this, our government has never, ever in their history demonstrated an ability to spend our money effectively. Ever. So I just don't see any point in giving them more so they can be ineffective with it. Only evil people dislike the great gooey god food that is cheese. Well, I don't hate all cheeses, Jamie Bear. In fairness, it's American cheese specifically. I'm not generally a cheese fan. In other words, I love pizza, so I can't hate cheese altogether. Pizza's my favorite food. I never want big hunks
of me. Then
of
why
cheese,
does Amy keep taking it up to ask from Misa? Guess she just likes the Yusa even less. She found her level, someone she hating. Wow, if someone she hating is still above Yorsa, level Mesa, just off in myself. Misa set the Star Wars back? Yusa franchise is a build upon Eggman and Shadow.
Ooh. Oh, they're the stars.
Forget Kamala v. Trump. Jar
Shit,
Jar
it is,
Sonic
Rosa.
vote now.
It really is American cheese. The Jar Jar, I know. Jar Jar and Sonic are just at it way more violently than Trump and Kamala were. Yeah, American cheese is. It happened again to me. I told you guys I went up to see my grandkids, and we're going to my grandson's game. My granddaughter asked me to stop at Dunkin' Donuts. She wanted a sandwich, so we all got a little sandwich. I love their turkey sausage they have there, so I get my turkey sausage and cheese on a plain bagel. Or, I'm sorry, yeah, turkey sausage, cheese. Turkey sausage and egg on a plain bagel,
Sonic,
no
Issa,
cheese.
Communist, Misa, Tink,
They
BTW,
put cheese
no
on it
vote
again.
Sonic,
I
he
can't
likes
win.
American cheese. Okay, day.
No, he likes American cheese. I don't know why that's so hard for any of the fast food places, but it's so brutally difficult to get a goddamn sandwich without that American cheese. All right, see what I mean, Big Green? It's still Halloween. Come on, you guys, we want to see Thanksgiving or Christmas. Although the twerking jack-o'-lantern is pretty cool. They gotta have some Christmas ones made, don't they? Gotta have. Doggone it. Yeah, we're a third of the way through November, right, Chrome? I was getting excited. I thought we'd start seeing the Christmas ones and stuff. I don't know, Big Green. That's what I mean, pal. You and I were the ones that were so into these, and we were like, okay, let's see what we get next. Well, apparently it's going to be Halloween until next October. I don't know a lot about Tom Horman. The little bit I do, I approve. But before I come out and give somebody a ringing endorsement, I'll have to learn more about him. What I know of him, what I've seen of him speaking in front of Congress and stuff, I like what he's had to say. But I'll be definitely looking up more. Am I cutting out for everybody? Flyer says we're cutting out. Anybody else getting that? Is the audio cutting? The Halloween graphics are cool. Seems fine. It might be on your end, Flyer. No, good for me. I hear you fine. Good for me. You might have something going on your end, pal. It seems like everybody else is okay. Mike's good. It's not showing any. I've got a little light here to tell me if it's out. And I've got right here, I should have it on at all times. I have a microphone monitor right on my Streamlabs here, and it's not showing any cutout. It's showing that the audio is going out fine. Mr. says, do you think Trump is the end of everything because some people are acting like it is? No, it's and in fairness, nor would Kamala have been the end of everything like some Republicans would want you to believe. Not at all. As I say, Mr., the thing is, I ask people all the time, he was president for 4 years. Whether you like him or not, what happened in your day-to-day life during those 4 years that makes you think this is the end of everything? Or that there's going to be a significant difference in the way you're able to live your day-to-day life? Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Excuse me. Chrome says, okay, I do feel like he's actually going to do his job.
Okay, now you've crossed the line saying that I like American cheese.
Oh, that is...
I'm heading to your location.
That is kind of crossing the line. It was all fun and games, when we're just talking about who's banging whose girlfriend and stuff. But American cheese, what are we doing? Oh, this is one of the interviews I saw, Chrome. I did see that interview. As I said, my early impressions are good, and largely because of things like that. And plus, when he was talking to AOC there, Dr. Darrett, thanks for the super chat, pal. And Doc says, joke's on us. It's cheaper to be Halloween forever. Yeah. we're worrying about overhead here. We already got the Halloween ones in the bag. Let's just keep going with it. I like that. Wolfpaw, you're hearing it too? It's probably something on YouTube's end then, because again, I can see that my mic is fine and nobody else is hearing it. So I'm going to guess certain YouTube servers are falling off on you. That's what I'm thinking. Oh, geez, Robbie Erasmus. No, I can't do any of those things you are asking, but I can hide you from the channel if that helps. Oh, come on, catch up here. There we go. Yeah, I think some of the gang is probably just, again, there's probably a YouTube server along the way that's fallen down for somebody.
You want us to be creative on Thanksgiving, too.
I'm actually surprised because Tangent does stay on top of things. I mean, fairness to them, they're usually right on top of everything. That's why I'm surprised they're still getting Halloween. Oh, Fire says it's working now. I closed the stream and opened it again. But I did miss last stream. Oh, boy, I won't remember what that was, Flyer. We go through so many topics so fast. Yeah, that's on me. I should have told everybody that too. Anytime with any YouTuber, any live stream, if you're having an issue, always refresh, because a lot of times that'll correct it.
Misa wishing the audio
sometimes
stop
my
Curtis
studio
Bombat annoying this guy. No, take a side. Are Wisa using American cheese as lube before fucking Amy, or are Wisa eating pizza with mayonnaise? These are serious Bombad conversations, and Yusa keep talking about the American president. Shut up, blood! Mandem, be crazy over old blood!
Wow. Isn't it funny how the text-to-speech, though, sometimes it puts just the right tone and tenor to a voice for something that was said. That's why it says my internet has a habit of throwing temper tantrums. So when someone's Steam goes under, I never know whose side it's on. Well, this has just been recently and didn't happen today, but my YouTube studio here will sometimes just blank out. And initially it was freaking me out because I thought the stream died. But everybody's saying, no, the stream's fine. It was just YouTube Studio. So again, it's what you guys are probably getting is YouTube's end. Is YouTube's end. That's what everybody wants. Hey guys, I gotta go. Thanks for this. This was fun. This was a great way to dive back into our streams again after being off for the weekend. Now, next one will probably be a reaction video stream. because again, everybody seems to really enjoy those, and I haven't done one again for quite some time. So we'll probably do that next. Hopefully, it'll be tomorrow. Now, my wife and I go up to New York to spend Christmas time with family.
You need your stuff back. You seem pretty fucked up already, Jar Jar.
So I'll be doing a lot of videos every day. There's our "We'll be right back." And now we know we can go. Oh, wait, that's right. Jill didn't make it in today. If I could remember just on her behalf, I can't remember. Well, not surprisingly, Plankton's exact quote. "See you all in therapy." I'd say it for her because we always get the "We'll be right back" followed immediately by Jill sponsoring.
Mesa fucked Amy up deep into her womb. Get Mesa a pregnancy test, mate.
Sponsoring Plankton. Amy deep into her womb. And if nothing else, Big Green sent it for us. There it is. Thanks, Big Green. Jill, thank you too at the next stream when she's in.
For Jill, fuck Jar Jar.
Fuck Jar Jar. For Jill. But Jill always, that one that you just saw of Plankton, Jill always sends that right after the "We'll be right back." Guys, again, thank you for this stream. This was a lot of fun, as it always is. And next one, as I said, will probably be a reaction video stream. And then who knows what from there. All I know is we'll be doing it together and hanging out together because I really, really love this. Thank you, guys. And I'll talk to y'all as soon as I can.
You're still here.
Wait. I want to get scolded by Deadpool first.
It's over.
Go
home. Now we can go. Thanks, you guys.
Yusa should be worried about fucking Yusa GF, not Mesa. But she's more interested in the black version of Yusa.
Jar Jar and Sonic. I got a feeling this is going to be continued too. I'll see you guys later.